Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JP Tong, and welcome to today's episode of Detox Your Mind. Today, I'm going to be talking about something very exciting, and I thought that being the second last episode of this series, I would talk about the power of being authentic. Now, I've been asked many times what being authentic is about, and how do we know whether or not we are authentic, and why is it important for us to even be authentic? Because I was told that it can be very scary when we want to be ourselves. So does it really serve us, or would it actually backfire? So today I'll be talking about this, and perhaps shed some light why being authentic is actually the most powerful. I always like to quote this fridge magnet that I bought many years ago. It is a quote by Oscar Wilde, and it reads that everyone else is taken, just be yourself. And I really like that, because it is so true. Because a lot of times we pretend to be somebody else, depending on who we're with, what situations we're in, and we just don't feel comfortable being ourselves. So we always try to be someone else, so that, well, so that we don't get, so that we're not rejected, so that we are able to get certain projects that we want, and whatever reasons they may be, we will always try our best not to be ourselves because of that fear factor. All right. So what does being authentic mean? Well, being authentic means, well, being your true self, including your values, uh, your principles, your belief at that point of time. Okay, so it will include your positive habits and also habits that are not serving you that well, but you kind of tolerate it, or you just want to just set it aside and not deal with it. So regardless of whatever it is that's inside of you, it is embracing wholeheartedly all of that makes you who you are at this point of time. Okay, why do I say at this point of time? Because as you and I know, we evolve as we mature. Okay, we evolve as we mature. I didn't say as we age, because there's certain people, as they age, they do not mature. So there is a difference. All right. So my definition of maturing would be maturing mentally. Okay, gaining life wisdom, and that's what I mean by maturing. So as we go through different phases in our life, we learn through our life experiences, and we try to make sense of it, and we grow from there. Okay, so part of Detox Your Mind talks about is how do we regulate what we experience throughout the many phases in our life. And a lot of times we stumble because nobody really taught us how to regulate and make sense and really learn from these life experiences in a way that will empower us to be a better version of ourselves. Many times our life experiences make us more jaded, make us more fixated, more narrow-minded, more opinionated, and more judgmental, and more fearful, because we hold on to past experiences and thinking that to protect ourselves, that's what we need to do. So in hindsight, if for those of you who have been watching this program, it's about purging all of that, and just learning about the essence of our life experiences. And from these essence, of what we've learned. How do we evolve to realizing our fullest potential? All right, so if you have missed the earlier episodes, do watch. Do watch since the time that I started with Detox Your Mind. So back to being authentic. So we embrace. So wherever we are right now, okay, who we are right now, we embrace it. We embrace the positive habits and the negative habits. Negative habits are habits that you and I know, that we know deep down that are not serving us. And it's still there because for whatever reasons you may not want to deal with it right now, or you don't know how to deal with it, whatever your reasons may be, but you embrace all of that. Okay, and also to take responsibility of your actions and what you say. So taking full responsibility, knowing that that's the package, that is who you are right now. And being authentic also means that when you assess yourself, you have to strip away your gender, you strip away your career, all these labels, you remove them. All right, your race, your religious belief, your education, and your age. Okay, you remove all these labels and you ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Even my name, JP, remove that. So if I see this person in the mirror, who is this person? That's the kind of question that we need to ask ourselves if we would like to know our authentic self. Okay, so you remove all these labels and you ask yourself. Okay, wait, are there some questions here? Let me see. No questions. But before I continue, let me say hi to Cochran, Jesse, Sokfan, Agnes, Hi Lily, Sharon, Marcus, and Sharon. Again, Sharon said, may the light of wisdom and compassion illuminate the darkness of all sentient beings. Thank you. And Marcus, hi JP, so glad to see this while on your break. Oh, you're most welcome. I'm glad that you're able to log in and join, and Caroline and Freon, but of course. Okay, so yes, so the authentic self. So when you remove all these labels, who are you? What are you? And that's the question that we ask ourselves. Okay? So again, remove the labels of your age, your gender, your career, whatever hobbies that you have, your religious belief, your education, all these labels, remove them. Okay? Then ask yourself, who am I? Sometimes for those of you who are not consistent with being mindful, initially there will be a struggle because you will actually be stumped and said, okay, who am I? Without all these labels, who am I? And what am I about? All right, so and that is very important because why? When we realize who we are, all right, both our habit, our positive habits and our negative habits, and most importantly is to take responsibility, taking responsibility for everything that we do and everything that we say. Okay, because why? As long as we are truthful to ourselves and we want to learn, and we want to continue growing and maturing, evolving, there is no fear. There is no fear to making mistakes, because why? Mistakes are just information for us to realize that, okay, so this doesn't work at this time, at this place. Okay, the key here is at this time, at this place. So maybe I should try something else, and try something else, and try something else, until I succeed. All right, so you are yourself, everything about it. Although you make a mistake, it's okay. Sometimes we say silly things in front of important people, and you want to kick yourself really hard after that. It's okay. You see, because when people experience the sincerity and that authenticity in you, all that just melts away. It's not that important because look, who is perfect? Okay, who is perfect out there? Name me one person who is perfect out there. There's no one. But you see, we always pretend that, oh, we always would like to portray perfection towards others. Fearing, having this deep fear that others will not accept us. And that is the issue here. Most people suffer from some sort of low self-esteem. It's just a matter of to what degree. To what degree? So if you notice, or if you are mindful of yourself, when you're with certain people, how do you behave? Are you the same when you meet other people? Let's say if you meet your boss, how do you behave? If you meet your family, how do you behave? If you meet your good friends, how do you behave? If you meet people who are very important, how do you behave? And when you meet people who are in your perception not important, in your perception not as important, how do you behave? If you notice that fundamentally you behave in ways, or you portray yourself as a different person, it can be a variation of who you are, but it's different. Okay, I'm not saying that if you meet your boss and if you're somebody who likes to curse and swear, you're going to curse and swear in front of your boss because you're being authentic. Okay, authenticity also yes, that is that authentic part of you, but you see, that's just part of you. Sometimes when we are when we are socializing, there are things called social etiquette. There are manners that we need to follow. There was this ex-colleague of mine whom I met recently, and her daughter, who is now in her early 20s, and being in that generation, they always talk about being authentic, and how and what's my opinion about having a certain hairstyle when you go to work. And she said, does that make me lose my authentic self? And I said, no, it doesn't. Because why? You have a job that is going to pay your bills. Okay? So if you want this job and this job requires you to dress a certain way, you do not lose yourself. You are just playing a part. You're just playing a role in an organization. And when you play this role well, you get remunerated and you get to pay your bills. But do you lose yourself? No, you don't, because it is only a job. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So same thing likewise, when you are socializing with other people, although you like to swear and curse all the time, because that's how you are, it doesn't mean that you need to swear and curse. Because why? Because that can be very, very offensive. Very, very sensitive. So being authentic, and as we age, we realize that yes, you can still hold on to your values and your belief system of who you are. Okay, without being offensive to others, without being offensive, and that's the fine line. So there is a fine line that we need to walk on. Without losing your authentic self. Okay, without losing your authentic self. All right, so ultimately, when we reconnect with our authentic self, all right, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. You will realize this. That there is a certain level of loving kindness to yourself. Why? Because you just ask yourself, there are certain people whom you love, whom you show your love, the loving kindness side of you to them. It can be your parents, your children, your partner, whomever, your best friend. So so we do have a loving, kind aspect to us. So it is possible. It's just that we do not show that to many people because of our fears. Okay? And we are compassionate. We are. It's just a matter of to whom. And we are accepting sometimes to a certain degree. Okay? And to a certain degree, we are fearless depending on the situation. All right? So the authentic self is loving kindness, compassionate, accepting, fearless, responsible, and humble. Humility is very important because when we are responsible for ourselves, you will want to learn more. Because why? You want to improve. You want to evolve. You want to continue evolving until your last breath. Okay, until your last breath. And that comes with maturity because none of us know everything. All right, so you know, you can be 100 years old and you can still be learning, and you can be 100 years old and the way you look at a certain thing can differ from the way a 50-year-old or a 20-year-old or 30-year-old may view the same thing. So there's no right, no wrong. It's just that different people perceive the same thing in a different angle. So through time, you would realize that there's no right, no wrong in that sense, that everyone will see things differently. So instead of fighting over who's right, who's wrong, it really doesn't matter. And that, again, takes time for you to mature and realize that winning over what's right or wrong ultimately is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. Because why? If the person doesn't have that wisdom and the maturity to understand and realize it, you can talk to the cows come home. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. All right. So and we wish the person all the best to realize that later on. All right, without being sarcastic, but that's how it is. It's okay. If that's how you believe it, that's how you believe, and where I am right now, that's how I perceive it. Okay, so yes, so being authentic. So the ultimate authentic self, or the inner or the truest form of you, are these: loving kindness, compassionate, accepting, fearless, responsible, and humble. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, so I guess there's no question. Right, so let me see what else. So for those of you who would like to ask me, well, how do I find my authentic self? Well, first of all, you have to practice mindfulness. As I always say, take some chill time, 5-10 minutes every day. I think that's good enough. Okay, sit on the comfortable chair, like the sofas behind me. Okay, or your bed, anywhere that you feel comfortable with in a space. It can be in your office, at home, anywhere that you feel comfortable with no distractions. And over a drink, coffee, tea, water, whatever it is that you enjoy drinking, just take 5-10 minutes to chill and just focus on whatever it is that you like to focus on. And when you do that, when you take time out every day, 5-10 minutes, to just calm the mind, you will increase your level of awareness. All right, so whatever thoughts may arise as you are focusing on drinking your cup of water, for example, you watch your thoughts or whatever emotions, whatever memory it is that came up. You watch it, but you go back to drinking, okay, or your breath. So whatever it is that you would like to focus on, do that. That will help you increase your level of awareness, and your focus will be very, very sharp and very, very controlled if you do that consistently every day. All right, so when you have a good grasp of your chill time, whereby you have a good grasp of focusing, and watching your emotions and your thoughts just come and go without being drawn away and distracted further, you still come back to your breath or to your drink. It means that you have a very good control already. And when you do that, when you have very good control, then you start asking yourself, how authentic I am with, as I said just now, when I'm at work, when I'm with my family, when I'm with my children, okay, and whomever it is whom you are with. Are you the same person? Or do you need to pretend to be somebody else? And you ask yourself, why do you need to pretend to be somebody else? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that if this person or if these group of people who see your authentic self, they may reject you? So these are questions that we ask ourselves when we become mindful. All right, and I've met many people who are not even aware that they are somebody else when they're with somebody else. They are somebody else when they're with somebody else. That's what it is. So depending on who they are with, they are like shapeshifters, like they play different roles. And it just keeps changing, depending on whom they're with. All right? And just like on social media, which I spoke about a few episodes ago, how people who take selfies and weefies and how they're trying to portray to the world how perfect they are, and how they want to portray, just put on this show that everything is fine and they're living the best life. And perhaps it's true, but after a while, you will see that it's always one selfie to another, and like I always say, how many other angles do you want people to see your face, and how many things, and and it's always, oh, shout out to this, shout out to that, and it's always about you and what you do. So it's giving people this image that, wow, that you're fine and you want as many likes as you can. So all this kind of a reassurance from others to tell yourself that, okay, my life is good. I am good enough. I am good enough because why? Look at how many likes I get per post with my selfie and with whatever it is that I do. And you feel joyful when you have many likes. And when you don't have a lot of likes, you go, maybe I should have this other angle, for example. Okay, and I see it all the time, and people say, "Oh, you look so young, you look so beautiful. I like what you're wearing. Or I'm so happy with oh, where is this place?" And so it's all this reassurance because why? Because this person is suffering from low self-esteem, and what is that? You're not happy with who you are. You're not happy with who you are ultimately. Otherwise, why do you need so much reassurance from others? Think about it. Think about it. And it's very sad because the person doesn't even realize that deep down, they're so unhappy with themselves. They just try to portray the best of who they are. And it's very, very tiring. Very, very tiring to be them because they always have to be somebody else. Okay? So I do know people who tell me that they are very authentic. And you can just see right through them because they keep changing, personas when they meet other people without even realizing it. Okay, so again, practice mindfulness and check it out yourself. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to share with you how you can realize your authentic self. Because why? Think about it. If you are your authentic self and you embrace everything about yourself, the positive and the not so positive, but you are constantly evolving, learning, and being a better version of yourself, right? That's what we're all trying to do. That's what this program is all about. Anyways, so if we're doing that, isn't it very natural? Isn't it very easy peasy just to be yourself? You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. You don't have to think twice. All right, maybe with your boss, if you like to swear, then just curb that a little bit. If you're with your parents, and you cannot put your, I don't know, your foot up on the dining table. Let's say if you like to eat with your foot on the dining table. I mean, these are just little things, social etiquette. I think that doesn't make you lose who you are. All right, but it's so much more carefree just to be yourself. Now, why do I call this program the power of being authentic? Why? It's because when you become authentic, you become fearless. All right? There's always fear there. All right? This I must admit, there's always a certain level of fear, regardless. Anyhow, instead of focusing on the fear, you learn through your mindfulness practice by taking your chill time. Yes, you watch the fear. See, fear is an emotion, so you watch that fear arise instead of focusing on it and let it overwhelm you and paralyze you. You focus on what you need to do, and what is that? To connect to your authentic self. Just be yourself. Everyone else is taken, and because you are yourself, there's no inhibitions, nothing to pull you back. Just to be yourself. That is the most powerful. You're actually operating from fearlessness. Operating from. I didn't say you don't have fears. I'm just saying you're operating from fearlessness because you're focusing on what you need to do instead of your focus. All right, so that's the difference. So when you're fearless, when you're operating from fearlessness, the whole world is ahead of you. You can create whatever it is that you want because you're fearless. And you keep trying 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 until you get it. All right? But that, see, again, it's not that you keep trying and being vicious about it and at the expense of others, because don't forget, your authentic self is loving kindness. It's compassionate. Okay? Is responsible. So, what does compassion, being loving, having loving kindness and compassion mean? It means that you are sensitive to others' needs. You're sensitive to others' needs. It's having a state of mind which is natural to you, that you're always thinking of how to benefit others, how to help others. That is natural. Everything else opposite of that is unnatural. All right? So, because we are compassionate and we're operating from loving kindness, you will notice that whatever that it is that you do, that you are striving for, whatever goals you have in your life, it is with a lot of kindness to others. It's always a win-win situation. Okay? And also you are fully aware of yourself. So not only are you kind to others, you are also kind to yourself. And that's very important, because why? I also noticed through these years of talking to people, many people like to beat up themselves. So they're so opinionated and so judgmental that they don't even give themselves a break. And many times when the person does well, you gaslight yourself. All right? And what does gaslighting mean? It means you nullify your success. You nullify your happiness. You nullify that, all that joy that you have when you achieve something, because people who suffer from low self-esteem will always or tend to self-sabotage, and because deep down they tell themselves they're not good enough. So whatever success that they experience, they will gaslight it, and they say, nope, it's still not good enough, and there's that negative conversation that kicks in, and that is a habit. That's a habit. All right. So for those of you who do have this kind of a habit, again, watch it as a thought, because these are conversations that is happening in your head, and focus on rejoicing your baby step success. Okay? Baby step success. Yes, for example, oh, I want to be a billionaire, but, I just managed to earn $1 million, for example. And you go, see, JP, you're a loser. You're not a billionaire. You've only earned $1 million, for example. So instead of beating yourself up, celebrate every step of the way. And that's what being kind to yourself means. That's what it means. All right? So always check in with yourself. Whatever that it is that you say to others, is that from your authentic self? Or is it not? Or are you saying things to the person because, to the person, what the person wants to hear, and it's not you? So again, checking in with yourself. And this is consistency. So this is something that we do every day, every second of the day. You do that and be mindful about it. And you check in with yourself. Okay? Let me see what else. Do I have any questions so far? Okay, so I guess everyone knows what being authentic is about. So imagine when you operate from your authentic self, regardless of people snubbing you, being negative towards you. Yes, sometimes it does affect you, but you know what? Instead of being scared by it and being turned off by it and just go back into your own cocoon, you actually go, oh, it's okay, because why? Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their opinion, right? You're not here to please everyone, otherwise you'd be joining the the congeniality pageant, which we're not. So as long as we take responsibility of our actions and we strive to be a better version of ourselves, I think that's good enough. And then it's impossible to please everyone. I mean, look at Mother Teresa, and Mahatma Gandhi. These are personifications of compassion and loving kindness, and yet people don't like them. Gandhi was assassinated, right? Mother Teresa, people are still spewing hate over her, on her. So you cannot please everyone, and that's something that I realize personally, that no matter what you do, all the goodness that you do, that you are not going to please everyone. There's going to be somebody out there who's going to spew a lot of hatred. And as I always say, people who spew hatred and hurt others is because that is their expression of how they feel deep down, because they themselves are suffering and they do not know how to regulate it. So everything that they say and they do comes out hurting others, whether it's intentional or unintentional. That's the case, because that's their reality. Okay, so because we understand how the mind works, we become more empathetic towards it. And what's there to react? Because you empathize and you know that, wow, this person is really hurting inside, and that's why they are so hurtful to us. And for some people who are very self-centered, very selfish, is because, well, nobody taught them to be otherwise, because to be self-centered and selfish are something that is not natural to the authentic self. And it is very tiring, it's very draining. And that's why people like that are very, their minds are very unstable, very temperamental. And then the mood swings go up and down. All right, they can be very, very charming 1 second, and then another second later, they just become a monster. All right, so observe that. All right, then you see what I mean. Okay, there's a question from Cochrane. Is being authentic, is being our authentic self expose ourselves to others taking advantage of this and take advantage of us, using authentic self as being a weak point? That's a good question. Being authentic, the authentic self is also being vulnerable. You see, because why? If I'm authentic and I'm vulnerable, and people may want to take advantage of me. Okay, so let's say if I am connected to my authentic self and I'm compassionate and kind, and people take advantage of my kindness. Now, out of compassion and kindness, I will notice that this person is taking advantage of me. And so, out of compassion and kindness, I would like to stop the person from continuing his or her negative habit of taking advantage of me. So all I say is, I know what you're doing. Please don't do that to me. I know what you're doing. I do not appreciate it. So again, communication. Okay, communication. And the person is saying, what are you talking about? I'm not taking advantage of you. I have said my point. I just want you to know. I feel, well, perhaps you're right, but that's how you make me feel. No right, no wrong, but that's how I feel. Right? So the person who's going to take advantage of you will never, ever own up to it. Never. I mean, come on. What do you want them to say? Oh, yeah, I was trying to take advantage of you. I'm very sorry. Of course, the person is going to say, I'm not. So regardless, you experience what you experience. Most important is what the person experiences. So if the person's intention is not, and is genuinely not, but you feel it, it's not the first time. Because when a person tries to take advantage of you, it's consistent over and over and over and over again. And you can feel and sense it. All right? Tell the person very nicely, I know what you're doing, and that's it. So again, what have you got to lose? Right? Remember Coughlin, in one of our episode here, I spoke about being giving. So what have you got to lose? What, I bought you a meal? Well, I can afford that, right? Although you may take advantage of that, it's too bad for you, but I did it from the bottom of my heart. And it's okay. If you take advantage of that, it's your loss. Because why? Because this is a good friend whom you can keep and you can trust. And if you keep taking advantage, you are actually severing that relationship. So am I at a loss? I'm not. Because why? Because I'm going to continue being myself. And if you're going to continue being, having this negative habit, which you can change if you want to, at the end of the day, you are going to be the one who's going to be suffering. And it's very unfortunate. Because why? Suffering from what? People are going to leave you. Come on. People are going to leave you because at the end of the day, they will know that you're taking advantage of them. So you're the one who's going to be suffering. For me, because I'm very giving and very kind, people like free meals. People like to be treated kind and and to be loved, right? I'm going to be surrounded with so many people who's going to appreciate it. So to me, there's nothing to lose, Coughlin. And yes, and yes, I am vulnerable. Yes, I spill my beans. I tell people everything. So I never said I was perfect. So are you saying that you're perfect? If not, then what's the big deal? So you see, when we take a deeper, when we contemplate on a deeper level, we realize that it's, these are, as fear represents what, false emotions appearing real, and that's what it is. Okay, I hope I've answered your question, Coughlin. All right, so that's the power of being authentic. All right, you will feel very carefree, you feel very liberated. All right, and you will not be righteous. All right, because there are certain people who say, "Oh, but I'm being authentic." No, you're just being plain rude and righteous. That's just being very naive and immature about it. Okay, yes, I can, but they keep arguing and they say, oh, yes, but that's me. I get it. But it's not going to serve you if you're going to stay in that authentic moment of being rude and whatever it is that, and selfish, right? Own up, take responsibility, and know that it's not going to serve you ultimately. Of course, you have the choice to stay authentically selfish and rude and whatever it is. But just be prepared that not everyone is going to take it, and you will be left alone. And if that's what you want, you got what you wish for. See? So there will always be consequences of repercussions of how we are. All right. So on that note, I think that's it for being authentic and the power behind being authentic, and that comes with being vulnerable. All right. So I hope you liked today's session because, like I said, many people have been asking me what being authentic is all about. So I hope today I have explained all that. All right. Now, after this at 9:45, which is just a few minutes later, I'm going to have a workshop. So if you want me to walk you through about being authentic, join the workshop. There is a link, bemindful@kechara.com. There not a link, sorry, an email. You can email to that, and the administrator will give you our Google Meet link where you can have a group session with me online. All right, so before I say goodbye, I would like to thank today's sponsor. Today's first sponsor is Anonymous Dedication, dedicated towards all beings' liberation from suffering and attainment of compassion, wisdom, and true happiness. Second sponsor is Jack, Dedication, Joe, Nova, Leo, Joe's dad, my mom, our friends, and the people that hurt us. The sponsor, Anonymous Dedication, may JP Tong and team and all Detox Your Mind workshops participants always be blessed with true happiness. That's very nice. Thank you. And sponsor, Lily Tan, Dedication, may we develop clarity of mind and wisdom and always be blessed by the three jewels. The last sponsor for tonight is Julie Koo, Dedication, wishing everyone healthy and stay safe. On that note, thank you very much for tuning in. And next week will be the last episode of this series. So for those of you who want to join me on the wrap up, do so, because I'll be talking about moving forward. So from after all, after watching the all these episodes of Detox Your Mind program, what's going to be next for all of you? So I'm going to be talking about that, and again, there'll be a workshop after that. All right, so I'll see you guys shortly in the workshop. Bye-bye.